Through the Mayhem, the Silently podcast series, bringing marketing industry leaders together to discuss the ever-shifting media landscape. Learn about the ins and outs of real-time marketing, influencers, data privacy, technology, and so much more. All from industry experts with real experience, giving you the real answers. Now, let's break through the mayhem.
Welcome to Breaking Through the Mayhem today. We're so delighted to have Paige Walker from Hershey's. So excited to finally have you on the show. We had to move this around a little bit, which I apologize because I haven't been feeling well the last few weeks. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your title, what you do, kind of how you got to Hershey's, because I don't know, I find what you do to be not only thrilling, cool, and smart, but something that I want to learn about.
Yeah, hey Adam, thank you so much for having me on the podcast. And it's just that time of year. I feel like everybody's getting sick. I have a head cold myself, so if I sound a little stuffed up, that is why. Hey, it's winter, so what are you gonna do? But yeah, thanks for having me. Excited to be here. My official title at Hershey is Manager of Cultural Intelligence and Trends. And I've been with the company since 2020. I actually literally started the week the pandemic started. That was my first day at the company. So I went to the office for like 5 minutes, got my laptop, and they're like, all right, bye, get out of here. And I didn't go back to the office for over 2 years. So it was definitely an interesting kind of journey to learn a whole new field and a new career while the world was, blowing up with the pandemic and everything. Um, but I used to be a journalist, so I was in the journalism field. I have a journalism degree. I left that career and I started out at Hershey as just what was called a social media engagement specialist. So that was a person who responds back and forth to consumers on social media. We have really big consumer facing brands like, Reese's, Jolly Rancher, Twizzlers, Hershey's, of course. And they all have social media accounts, and people are contacting us on those accounts all the time for various reasons, for positive reasons and negative reasons. Like if you have buy a Reese's cup and there's no peanut butter in it, which does happen sometimes, you might be upset and you might go to Twitter or X, excuse me. I'm always going to call it Twitter, So, but you might go to X and tweet how upset you are. And somebody has to answer that. And that was the team that I was on originally. You could say it was like the customer service team. It's called consumer relations internally. But every quality issue that someone contacts the company about, that has to be documented. It has to be, sent to the plants so they can know whenever there's a huge, small or big issue with, one of our products, so they can solve issues if needed. And just, track how our quality is over time and make sure we're delivering quality products to our consumers. So consumers can contact us, of course, on social media, but they can also contact us like any other company on phone, email, web chat, text, etc. So that team was where I was originally, and I was on the social media team for that. But then what started happening was, we were getting all these really great insights from social media, just people telling us, of course, when they had a problem with one of our products, but also what they loved about our products, what they, wish we would change, if there were flavors that they wanted us to bring back, if there was packaging that they didn't like, or a design they maybe did really like and they were excited about it, or, just all kinds of different insights that we were like, we need to get these to the brand teams because we feel like these are really valuable. We can make changes based off of what people are saying. And so it started out in the beginning of just having those owned contacts to our organic social channels. And we were like, well, we need to look more broadly. We need to look at the whole internet in general. Because, someone might be talking about you on Reddit, but they're not actually at mentioning Reese's on Reddit. So, we started doing, what's called social listening truly, and looking at mentions where we weren't actually tagged and mentions where we were tagged, and really just offering our services to the brand. I'm saying our because I had somebody else working with me at the time. She's no longer at the company, but we were offering our services, and the brands were like, yeah, sure. okay, like, if you wanna do a report for me, that's great. So we do these reports, and they got really good feedback, and they're like, "Oh, like, could you do this quarterly or monthly?" And we're like, "Yeah, like, absolutely." So that it turned into us offering our services to then now my job is, like, so ad hoc, like, everything I get is a request. I have, thankfully, a ton of requests, like, backed up, and, I went from, like, not doing any social listening to then social listening being my full-time job, um, and now the research is really integrated into our consumer insights team and the primary research they're doing, and then my role has evolved not from just listening on a brand level, but listening on a category level and just kind of on, like, a macro level. Because, like, yeah, Skinny Pop popcorn is one of our brands, and we're interested in what people are saying about Skinny Pop, but I'm also interested in popcorn as a category in general. And then, just on top of that, I'm interested in snacking and different food and beverage trends, and I'm interested in how people, are shopping and behaving in this crazy world that we live in. So it's gone from very specific to, like, consumer feedback for brands to now just very broad consumer behavior and trends.
Unbelievable story.
Eh,
Did you ever think when, you were I saw you were cum laude at, Penn State. Did you ever think when you were in state college that you'd be listening to how people feel about a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup? So it's a pretty
Absolutely
pretty
not,
crazy
yeah.
journey. What do you think is, like, the consistent throughput that gets you to where you are? It sounds like it's that you're always willing to learn something new, dive in, think through it, be analytical, and then, show up with something and try to be consistent. But maybe I answered the question for you based on what I
That's
hear. But what's kind of been the consistent throughput and thread that's made Paige Walker so successful?
Well, I appreciate that, and that's part of it. I think really storytelling at the end of the day because, I was a journalist in high school and college and then out of college, and I love journalism and I love storytelling. And I always say that consumer insights is just storytelling for brands. It's just like journalism is storytelling for your community, and consumer insights is storytelling for your brand. So it's just me taking my skills I had as a storyteller and applying it in a different setting, and this time, for business and strategy and insights and all that. Um, and I think that's why part of why my reports are received well, just because I am good at telling a story. I'm good at looking through, large data sets and figuring out, like, hey, what of this is noise? What of this actually matters? Like, what is the action we can take? Or what is my recommendation from all of this noise that's going on the internet? It's the same thing with being a journalist, being a storyteller. There's so much happening in the world every single day. You have to decide, okay, what actually matters to my community? What do they need to hear? So I kind of just take that same philosophy and I apply it to our brands at Hershey.
It's amazing. I mean, from my perspective, I've seen that you've won awards, right? These prestigious top 50 awards. Are these like things that, the awards are things that come to you, or are these something that you apply for? Like, how can people learn how to get out there like that? Because I do think those things truly impact careers. Like, what would be your advice to people to try to get themselves in the mix for these type of things?
Yeah, if you're in the social listening field, or I mean, this can really apply to any field, but if you're in social listening specifically, you should check out the Social Intelligence Lab. Dr. Jillian Nye, she runs the whole show. She's based in Scotland actually, so it's a global organization. Um, but essentially, like, I just started using LinkedIn more. I got connected with some people in the field on LinkedIn, and then they introduced me to the Social Intelligence Lab. So people like to hate on LinkedIn, but I think LinkedIn is actually, like, one of the best tools we have, like, in our
Who
toolbox as
hate
marketers.
who hates on
Who
it?
h- People on TikTok, they call it cringe. I mean, I agree. It can be cringe, like, for sure. But if you use it in the right way, like, it has led me to a ton of opportunities, like, inclooking
Look at
this.
how
So
look at how look at how we met. So, from my perspective, yeah, I listen, if you go listen to any platform, you know this from your experience, you'll find the negative of anyone's, story. To me, there's the good in all people and the good in all platforms and the bad in all of it. And you've clearly taken big advantage of it, right? But so when you met, Jillian, right? Isn't that just another you just keep marching until you find the next way, right? It feels
Eh,
like in your career, right? When you get
yeah.
these when you get these like type of awards, do you feel like Hershey celebrates it? Is it more of an individual thing? Like how do these things happen and what do you do with them?
Yeah, so the award you're referencing specifically, just for audience reference, is the Social Intelligence Insider 50. I am very grateful to be chosen for that list for the past 2 years. And what that
Unbelievable.
list, well, thank you. What that list is it recognizes the top social listening practitioners globally who are influencing the industry and spreading the good word for social listening, essentially. And that it's cross category, so people in CPG, people in tech, people in medicine, I don't know. So there's, like, so many different categories, and then you can nominate people, but you can also self-nominate. So I've self-nominated the last 2 years, and you really have to there's a interview list of questions you have to answer about the work that you've done and how you've advocated for the field, and then that gets judged by a panel of judges that, Dr. Jillian has on her team. So whenever I don't know, it's I mean, my coworkers are happy for me, of course, but I do feel like it's more of the kinda, like, community celebrating ourselves because social listening is so niche, and there's not a lot of us who do this job yet, and if you go to, big organizations like Hershey's and others in the CPG realm even, there's typically one person who does the job, and, like, that's it. I'm the only person here who does this work. There's some of my colleagues internally, they know how to use the platform and everything, but I am the social listening SME, and I'm the one doing the research, for the brands.
Don't you feel like what's with the technology advancements happening right now, that there's a way that you can be multiplied? And maybe Hershey's can, like, make a page agent
Uh,
inside of the organization or figure out a way. Because I feel like what's kind of coming next is this ability to let someone who only has your expertise be put into the hands of more people. What's your opinion about that future and kinda how that's gonna play out?
Yeah, so AI is a huge conversation in the social intelligence, social listening space, and it's something that I do use internally and some of my stakeholders use internally to an extent. Uh, our main social listening platform, which is called Quid, it has an internal kind of AI bot to where you can like ask it questions about certain large data sets because you might be looking at this super broad topic and you have millions of mentions and you're like, well, I don't know where to start. I don't know what the main themes of conversation are. So the AI can make that easier by helping to identify those themes and that making that speed to insight a lot quicker. But what I've found with the AI is that, like, it will think something is an insight where it's not really an insight, like, it'll take one tweet and be like, "Here's a theme about this person, and all these people are talking about this," and it's really, like, one post or, like, one guy on Twitter or one guy on Reddit, and I'm like, this is not really what I'm looking for here." So, like, it'll unearth some things, but it doesn't have the ability to, like, understand nuance or understand that, like, this is actually not a big thing, it's just one thing that somebody said. Sometimes, it does unearth really great things, and other times I'm like, "This makes no sense," or it'll just I don't know, I found with AI, it can sometimes, like, spit
So to
out
you, it's just
garbage.
another tool in your tool shed, and you have to figure out which time to use that tool versus when not to.
Exactly. Yeah, we do have a video intelligence tool where it has the AI bot that will go out and kinda, like, watch videos for us about certain things. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, I don't think AI, at least in the social intelligence space, is at the point where it can, like, replace someone. It can enhance your skills and help you get to an answer faster, but at any time I'm sending something that I use, like, an AI summary for, I'm like, "Hey, like, just be aware, like, this is an AI generated response. I'm gonna look deeper into it at a later point," but it does help for those very quick, like, "Oh, it's Friday at 4 o'clock, and I need a really quick answer on X, Y, and Z." It's like, "Oh, okay. Let me go ask let me go ask the AI bot and see what's going on here."
So listen, everyone has their own feeling of where these things are, where they're going, how to use them, what to do. I think part of what you're getting at though is because you're in a smaller team within a bigger organization and you got to stick your name on something, you like to feel a lot of confidence in it is really what I'm hearing.
Yes,
Especially that
exactly.
journalistic background is I want to tell my truth a certain way that is fair and worthy, right? And, so from my perspective, it sounds like you have all these different tools that you're using, but ultimately you have your own mindset of what you want that output to be. So I think there is a future, not that you're replaced, but I think there's a future where Page is automated for everyone else. That's where my
Yeah,
head's going,
no.
but
I
I'll
mean,
kind of
it's growing for sure, it is. The technology's only gonna get better, at least that's my prediction, so as the technology gets better, we'll continue to implement it more, and I know other people are doing more than we're doing at this point, but I'm excited to see kinda where it goes over the next, like, 5, 10 years.
so cool. So shifting a little gears here as we kind of come down the stretch. Who's been, some of your mentors? You don't have to name, but like what have been the themes of how you learn? And then how are you looking to give back to people for them to take advantage? Because it feels like the thing that I'm learning here the whole time, you just keep finding a new way and a
Mm.
new move. So kind of how'd you learn that quality and how are you gonna give that to others?
I don't know how I necessarily, like, found the quality, like, maybe it was just ingrained in me, but it when I did leave journalism, I, was very lost for a few years, depressed. I didn't well, this dream career that I had was not what I thought it was, and I'm never gonna find anything I like more than this. I was really down for a long time. And social listening kinda just fell in my lap, and I was like, I mean, sure, like, I worked hard and, like, I've gotten opportunities because of my hard work, but in the same vein, it was presented to me, and I'm like, "Okay, I do like it, I need to take advantage of it." Um, I will say, like, my original managers on my team when I joined Hershey, they were just, very open to the fact that I didn't have experience in CPG, and they kinda, took me under their wing, and they taught me all the ways of Hershey and of the industry, and I learned a lot from them. Um I'm still learning every day. I'm very interested in, traditional primary research as well, and that's something that I don't have a lot of experience in. So I had another manager after that who was very helpful with teaching me, how surveys work and how to actually program and field a survey and how to, participate in a qual study. So lots of people internally at Hershey who have just been, teaching me and being my cheerleaders, and I'm very thankful for them. Because anytime that I'm like, I think that this is the right way to go about something, or we need to help use social data to answer this question, these people have been behind me. They're like, yes, listen to Paige. Like, she knows what she's talking about. Like, let's let Paige cook, basically. Like, let her do her thing. And I'm grateful for all the people internally who have kind of lifted me up and helped me move. And then I have to shout out just, like, the general social listening community, like, everybody externally has been so helpful, like, I've reached out to a bunch of people, and they know who they are, and they've, given me these one-on-one conversations and their advice and how they've gone about specific situations that they've maybe faced in their org that I'm now facing in my org. So the social listening community is one of the best that I've found, and I was feeling very lonely at first. Once I found this community, I'm like, "Wow, I'm not alone, like, these other people are facing these same problems that I'm facing," so, they've been great as well.
I love that. You know, I don't got much to say about that other than that. That's super cool. Good for you. You know, as we close here, I always think about this. If you had a chance to go to dinner with somebody that's alive but not your family, who would you pick?
I don't know. This is a tough question because, like, I want to say like a celebrity, but I don't know if I would learn much from a celebrity.
So give me a
But
celebrity and a non-celebrity for you.
I mean, celebrity is Taylor Swift, obviously. I'm a big Swiftie. I'd love to go to dinner with Taylor Swift. But non-celebrity, see, I'm a Reputation girl, so I like all the Reputation tracks, all the ones on there. But then non-celebrity, I don't know. I'd like to go to dinner with the founder of Olipop, the
Oh,
prebiotic soda, because I just think what they have built is so incredible from not only like a product standpoint, like I'm a big fan of the products, but then just I think their marketing is really well done, their social presence is really well done, and I would just love to hear like from their start to where they are today and how huge they are, just the success they've experienced and what advice they would give to other people. So, yeah, founder of Olipop, if you're listening to this, I'd love to get dinner.
might be able to help you. Well, listen,
Maybe.
I had a lot of fun talking to you today, Paige. People are going to listen to this and they're going to be inspired to take journeys on their career, take chances, be consistent and authentic and show up and then find their community that kind of lifts them. So thank you so much for joining me today. And I had an absolute great time with you.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Hey, I'm Chris, one of the producers for Sightly's Breaking Through the Mayhem podcast. We want to thank you so much for subscribing to the show. If you'd like to learn more about the guests we had on today, we included additional information about them in the show notes. Finally, if you'd like to be on the podcast, or if you know someone who'd make a great fit, you can fill out the form at sightly.com/podcast. Catch you on the next episode.